Most men believe love starts with a decision, a clear thought, or a verbal admission. But in reality, love begins much earlier and much deeper than logic. It starts as a feeling, a subtle emotional pull that grows quietly beneath the surface. Before a woman ever says she loves you or even realizes it herself, her emotions have already moved in your direction. This is why her behavior often changes before her words do. A woman's emotional system reacts first. She feels drawn, comfortable, excited, and connected long before she consciously labels those feelings. Logic comes later, usually after the emotions have built enough intensity that they demand explanation. This is why she might say she's confused while simultaneously wanting to spend more time with you. Her heart already knows what her mind hasn't caught up to yet. You'll see this emotional lead show up in small, consistent ways. She remembers details about you. She mirrors your tone and energy. She becomes more expressive, more open, more present. These are not random behaviors, they're emotional investments. Even if she tells herself she's not that attached, her actions reveal the truth. Emotion always leaks through behavior. This is also why trying to rush clarity or force conversations about where things are going often backfires. When you push for logic before her emotions have fully settled, you interrupt the natural process. You pull her out of feeling and into thinking, and thinking too soon creates resistance. Love grows best when emotions are allowed to deepen without being questioned or analyzed. Another sign her emotions are ahead of her logic is inconsistency in words, but consistency in actions. She may downplay her feelings, act casual, or avoid defining the connection, yet she keeps showing up. She stays engaged. She invests time and energy. That disconnect isn't manipulation, it's emotional processing. Her feelings are real, her mind just hasn't named them yet. This is why your role is not to convince her or label the connection. Your role is to stay grounded, calm, and present. When you remain emotionally stable and non reactive, you give her the space to feel without pressure. The less you try to define the relationship, the more her emotions are free to grow. Love doesn't begin with a decision, it begins with a feeling. When you understand that her emotions are leading the way, you stop trying to rush the process and start allowing it to unfold naturally. And when her logic finally catches up, it feels effortless because her heart was already there. Stay centered, stay patient, and let her emotions lead her home. Love is revealed through behavior long before it's confirmed through words. A woman doesn't wake up one day and suddenly decide she's deeply connected. Instead, her feelings show themselves in how she invests, how she prioritizes, and how she responds emotionally. This is why paying attention to actions matters far more than listening to verbal uncertainty. When a woman is emotionally attached, she gives without keeping score. She makes time even when she's busy. She checks in, shares her world, and includes you in her routine. These aren't conscious strategies, they're natural extensions of emotional involvement. She may not say she's in love, but her behavior says she already is. You'll notice that she becomes emotionally present. She opens up about her thoughts, her fears, her past. Emotional openness is one of the clearest indicators of attachment. People don't reveal themselves deeply unless they feel safe and connected. When she trusts you with her inner world, it means her emotions are already anchored. Another key sign is prioritization. When she rearranges her schedule, chooses you over distractions, or makes consistent effort to see you, that's not coincidence. It's emotional choice. Even if she claims she's unsure about the relationship, her consistent effort tells the real story. Words can hesitate, but actions rarely lie. There's also an increase in emotional responsiveness. She reacts to your moods, notices shifts in your energy, and cares how you feel. This sensitivity happens when someone is emotionally invested. Indifference doesn't create awareness, attachment does. Many men make the mistake of focusing on what she says during moments of doubt, but doubt often appears when emotions are growing faster than logic can handle. Instead of pulling back emotionally or trying to convince her, the most powerful response is calm consistency. Stay present, confident, and relaxed. Let her actions guide your understanding, not her momentary confusion. It's also important not to reward words over behavior. If she says she's unsure but continues to invest, don't withdraw or chase. Maintain balance. Allow her to experience the emotional consequences of her own investment. That experience helps her recognize how deeply she's already involved. Love becomes real to her when she sees herself choosing you again and again. That realization doesn't come from discussion, it comes from observing her own behavior. When she notices how much she gives, how often she thinks of you, and how naturally she prioritizes you, her Awareness grows, actions reveal love before confessions ever do. Trust what she does, stay grounded, and allow her heart to speak louder than her words. Emotional safety is the foundation on which deep attachment is built. When a woman feels safe with you, her guard drops, her nervous system relaxes, and her emotions begin to settle into connection. This kind of safety isn't created by trying to impress or by constant reassurance. It comes from your consistency, your calm presence, and your ability to remain steady no matter what's happening around you. When she feels safe, she doesn't feel judged or rushed. She can be herself without fear of losing you or being misunderstood. This freedom allows her emotions to expand. Attraction may start with excitement, but love grows in comfort and trust. If she can relax around you, laugh easily, and speak openly, her emotional bond is already forming. Safety also shows up in how she responds during moments of uncertainty or stress. Instead of pulling away completely, she seeks your presence, she wants your perspective, your reassurance, or simply your calm energy. That instinctive pull toward you is a sign that her emotions see you as a place of grounding. She may not consciously recognize it as love, but her emotional system already does. Another sign of emotional security is vulnerability. When she shares fears, insecurities, or past experiences, she's allowing you into spaces she doesn't open lightly. Vulnerability is risky, and people only take that risk when they feel emotionally protected. Each moment of openness deepens her attachment, even if she hasn't labeled it yet. Your role in this dynamic is not to fix or control her emotions, but to hold space for them. When you listen without reacting, stay composed during emotional moments, and avoid defensiveness, you strengthen the bond. You show her that you can handle her emotions without being overwhelmed by them. That strength is deeply attractive. It's important to understand that emotional safety grows quietly. There may be no dramatic moments or declarations. Instead, it's felt in the ease of conversation, the comfort of silence, and the trust that develops over time. This quiet connection often precedes conscious love. When she feels grounded with you, she begins to associate you with peace rather than uncertainty. That association is powerful. It creates a desire to be near you, to share life with you, and to build something deeper. Love doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it settles in gently and grows from there. If she feels safe, relaxed, and emotionally drawn to you, her heart is already involved, whether she knows it yet or not. Stay steady, stay present, and let that connection deepen naturally. One of the clearest signs that her feelings run deeper than she admits is how she reacts when you're not around. When distance enters the picture, emotions that were quiet suddenly become noticeable. She may not openly say she misses you, but her behavior changes in ways that reveal how much your presence matters to her. Absence has a way of bringing buried emotions to the surface. When a woman is emotionally attached, your absence creates contrast. The calm, safety, and connection she feels with you are suddenly missing, and that absence is felt internally. She may check her phone more often, reach out unexpectedly, or bring up things that remind her of you. These are not calculated moves. They're emotional responses to missing someone who has become part of her emotional routine. Sometimes missing you shows up indirectly. She might ask casual questions, send something small, or start conversations that don't seem important on the surface. What matters isn't the topic, it's the attempt to reconnect. When someone doesn't care, they don't reach out at all. Engagement, even subtle, signals attachment. Distance also gives her time to reflect. Without constant interaction, her emotions aren't being stimulated externally. Instead, they begin to echo internally. She replays moments, remembers how she felt around you, and compares that feeling to her current state. This reflection often deepens emotional awareness. She starts to realize that life feels different without you in it. This is why stepping back calmly and confidently can strengthen emotional connection. It's not about disappearing or creating anxiety, it's about allowing space so her feelings can speak. When you don't chase or fill every gap, you give her room to experience her own emotions fully. That experience is what brings clarity. Many men make the mistake of interpreting silence as disinterest. In reality, silence can be a processing phase. If her feelings are strong, they don't vanish in space, they grow more noticeable. The key is not to interrupt that process with neediness or pressure. Let the distance do its work. When she begins to miss you, she starts to recognize your emotional value. She feels the difference between having you present and not. That contrast builds appreciation. Appreciation is a step toward love. If your absence changes her behavior, affects her mood, or draws her back toward you, Her attachment is already deeper than she realizes. Stay composed, stay grounded, and allow distance to reveal the truth of her feelings. One of the strongest forces that keeps her emotionally connected is your calm confidence. Not loud confidence, not forced bravado, but a steady, grounded presence that doesn't react emotionally to every situation. This kind of confidence creates emotional safety and intrigue at the same time. It allows her feelings to grow without being pressured or rushed. When you remain calm, especially in moments of uncertainty, you signal strength. You're not shaken by delayed replies, mixed signals, or emotional shifts. You stay centered. That steadiness communicates that you trust yourself and the connection, and trust is attractive. It tells her she doesn't need to manage your emotions or reassure you constantly. Emotional non reactivity is often misunderstood as indifference, but it's the opposite. It's presence without attachment outcome. You care, but you're not dependent. That balance is powerful. It allows her to feel your interest without feeling trapped by it. Love needs space to breathe, and your calm confidence provides that space. When you don't chase reassurance, she becomes more aware of her own emotions. Instead of responding to your need, she starts responding to her desire. That shift is critical. Desire grows when it's self generated, not when it's pulled out by pressure. Your emotional control allows her attraction to come from within. Calm confidence also shows leadership. You don't rush conversations, over explain, or seek validation. You let things unfold naturally. That leadership creates polarity. She feels free to be emotional, expressive, and feminine because you are stable and grounded. Polarity fuels attraction and deepens emotional attachment. Another key element is consistency. Calm confidence isn't situational, it's who you are. You show up the same way whether things are smooth or uncertain. That reliability builds trust over time. Trust turns attraction into attachment, and attachment slowly becomes love. This is why trying to impress or constantly prove your value backfires. It creates effort where ease should exist. True confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It's felt in your tone, your timing, and your presence. When you're calm and self assured, she feels it emotionally before she ever thinks about it logically. Your calm confidence keeps her emotionally anchored, even when she doesn't fully understand why. Stay centered, stay steady, and let your presence do the work. Love becomes real not when it's pursued, but when it's recognized. Stepping back is what allows that recognition to happen. When you stop trying to guide her emotions, label the connection, or secure reassurance, you give her the space to fully experience what she already feels. That space is where awareness forms. When you're constantly present, constantly initiating, her emotions stay stimulated externally. She enjoys the connection, but she doesn't have to reflect on it. Stepping back shifts the experience inward. She begins to notice how she feels when you're not there. That contrast brings clarity. Feelings that were subtle become obvious. This space isn't about playing games or creating fear, it's about emotional honesty. You're no longer trying to influence the outcome, you're allowing her to choose. And choice is what transforms attraction into love. Love carries weight only when it's freely chosen, not when it's managed or chased. As she processes her emotions, she may go through moments of uncertainty. That's natural. Growth often creates confusion before clarity. The key is not to interrupt that process with pressure. Stay grounded, stay confident, let her move through her feelings at her own pace. Stepping back also reinforces your self respect. You're showing that you value yourself enough not to overextend. You're present but not available on demand. That boundary strengthens attraction and deepens respect. Respect is a necessary ingredient for lasting love. When she begins to realize how much she cares, it often surprises her. Love doesn't always announce itself dramatically. Sometimes it arrives quietly through absence, reflection, and emotional contrast. She recognizes it not because you convinced she felt it. Your role is simple but powerful. Be consistent, be calm, be centered in your life and purpose. Let her heart do the rest. When love is real, it surfaces on its own. Step back and allow her love to rise in awareness.